Hi, welcome to the Open Hearts Book Club. I'm your co-host, Steph.
And I'm your co-host, Sadi, and we have an extra special episode today. Steph and I really pulled this one out of our asses. We read Mate by Ali Hazelwood as fast as humanly possible.
We loved Bride so much that we decided we're going to read the sequel. The squeakquel, if
The
you will.
squeakquel. It was actually kind of kismet because our Bride episode came out the day Mate came out.
Yeah.
If
We did not plan this, I swear. We just got lucky.
It was truly, we were sitting there, and I'm going to be putting clips of this throughout the video. We were sitting at Steph's place, and we sort of were like, oh, you know what? This could be a really good idea. We'll just do it. I'm sure we've got the ability in ourselves to get it together.
We did it.
To read this. If you're unfamiliar, Ali Hazelwood, super famous romance author.
Yeah.
Has written an alpha omega story. Her first novel was Bride, and it centered a vampire named Misery and her alpha mate Lo.
Yeah.
At the end of that one, we literally called it. I don't even know Cohen. I get it's setting up for like another book. But part of the plot had to do with her friend Serena, and Serena meets another alpha named Cohen, and immediately they are mates. And so this book is about Serena and Cohen. It's Serena's story, essentially, of like needing to be protected once again.
Yeah.
And her staying at his where territory and them being mates and getting to know each other.
Yes. Yeah. So we are doing this video a little differently than we usually do. It's going to start off in this one-off video, but I believe in our book club pick videos, we're also going to follow a similar cadence. So right now we typically do an intro, a spoiler-free summary, our ratings, then they get into a whole in-depth recap of the book, essentially. And we went, this is too long.
It's so long.
So now it's going to be very similar. It's going to be, again, intro, spoiler-free summary. But then instead of recapping the entire book, what we're going to do is just mostly talk about our feelings about the book, our ratings about the book, and then one of us will ensure that we touch on any larger plot points or themes or things like that. So
yeah, I mean, it's a book club. How rarely, like, you don't go to a book club to reread or re-summarize the book. So
right, yeah,
it's just going to be our thoughts, and I think it'll be very informative. Like, even if you haven't read the book, I'm sure you'll still have a fantastic time listening to us talk about Mate.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so this will follow the format of just any other videos that you might have seen, additional episodes or Patreon episodes where we're a little bit more freeform. We are heading towards that way with these videos. So yeah. This is our first dip into that new format. Here we go.
So before we get into our ratings of it, I just want to let you know that if you liked Bride, I think you'll really like Mate. Overall, like, just a quick spoiler-free summary. It's, like I had talked about before, Serena is going to Cohen's territory because, again, people are after her and he has to protect her. And throughout it, there is somewhat of like a mystery plot line happening in the background.
Yeah.
But if you really loved the nodding stuff in Bride, go ahead and read Mate. And if you don't want any more spoilers, I suggest you maybe stop here, come back to the video. But what did you think about Mate? What did you put into it?
So I had to sit there and think about my rating for a second because in good conscience, I don't feel like I can rate this lower than Bride. I think they both had problems, and we'll get into that. Yeah, but maybe. I will say, Serena and Cohen, not for me. However, the romance between the two of them was way more believable than Misery and Lo, in my opinion. So because of that reason, I rated it the same as Bride and gave it a 3 out of 5.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I was gonna say, I give it a 2.5, kind of for similar reasons, where I think a lot of the similarities, I mean, it has a lot of similarities with Bride. Like, a lot of the weaknesses in this book are the weaknesses that I had in Bride, and that just might be Ali Hazelwood, or it might be this genre in general. But I would give it just a little bit more because I do think Serena and Cohen are more believable than...
Yeah.
And it helps that Serena, off the bat, is kind of aware of her attraction, whether she wants it to be there or not. And there's not enough angst about it, by the way. She's just like, I like him. I don't mind being around him. So yeah, 2.5. That's not to say that I necessarily liked Serena and Cohen. They're not a pairing that I want to know what happens next with.
No.
And they're also... There's just not enough attention. Like, and we'll get into this. But I do want to touch on the fact that Serena being raised with humans doesn't matter at all in this book.
No, it doesn't.
Ugh.
There was a lot of things that even like it I guess doesn't technically pan out to be the main conflict, but the whole thing of Serena comes out and she tells everyone, she goes on TV and tells everyone that she is a were-human hybrid, and because of this she starts getting hunted by vampires. It's barely touched on, like that whole part of it, but it's her whole reason for, well, I guess I should say part of her reason for going off with Cohen and going into the Northwestern Territory is because of this. And we barely get any of that. It's just, it felt like such an afterthought.
Oh my God. So when we first initially pitched this idea of us reading Mate, we were at Steph's place, like I had mentioned before, and we filmed our initial reactions to the summary and to like the first snippet of the first chapter. And like that summary, one of our biggest criticisms, which is, and we're not trying to be haters, it's just like that summary didn't tell us anything about this book.
Not a thing.
I don't think it would have hurt the publisher to just say Serena is now out in an open about her status as a half-were and what does that mean for her. So at least you have some context going into this book.
Right.
So we just read the what is it called? The back cover for Mate, which is the sequel novel to Bride, which we guessed was going to happen.
Yeah.
By the way, we totally guessed this. And our initial thoughts are, what is this novel about? I don't understand.
It just, Serena is orphan and packless and one of a kind. Not one of a kind.
No, we literally had a whole conflict with Anna.
Anna exists. Coming forward as the first human were hybrid, I guess she could possibly be the first since she's older than Anna, but not one of a kind.
Sure.
Instead it made her prey to the ruthless political machinations between wares, vampires, and humans. With her enemies closing in on her, she has only one option left, if he'll have her.
Cohen Alexander commands obedience. His authority is so absolute, only a fool would threaten his mate.
Well, I do hate him, so that does check out, I guess.
But she doesn't reciprocate his feelings, so why is she hanging out with him?
I don't know.
Like, why isn't low enough?
Is Owen not an option either? He's assumedly the head of the vampires now.
Owen stands. Rise up! Owen apologist. Look, listen. This summary has told me nothing about this novel. I don't, like we had talked about at the end of our Bride synopsis, I don't get what their dynamic is going to be, and if their dynamic is going to be, I don't want to be with you.
Touch her and die. I just know it's going to be, and I'm going to kill myself.
But like, her coming out as a half werewolf throughout this, my reading experience, I did film myself and like predictions that I had. I texted you about them too.
Yeah.
I have proof of this. I called it where I was like, I don't think it's the vampires that are the antagonists here. I think it's the wares, similarly to Bride, where Bride tried to throw you off and say, oh, actually, the wares are the problem that's going on in this story. You find out it's her evil dad the whole time. I'm like, oh, they're doing the same thing. You think it's the vampires. I didn't think it was going to be a werewolf cult. That did that did throw me off.
Not in a good way, though. I just felt so out of left field. I literally wrote in my notes, I was like, what the hell is happening right now? What do you mean? Like, when the one person who comes by and starts jibber-jabbering about prophecies, I literally was like, what book am I reading right now? Like, in the 11th hour, all of a sudden we go, Ava!
Which I will say, in a different story, I'd be so into weird werewolf cult prophecy stuff.
Not
but
this one!
In this one, it's jarring because she's like, I wonder if he'll buy me a cute little pillow from the grocery store. And then she gets kidnapped. And you go, wait, huh? But the book starts off with the stupidest. Oh God, okay, they did this in Bride too.
Yeah,
where it starts off in media res, where in Bride, what's her face, Misery is like about to get married, and then you proceed to spend the next 3 chapters in flashback.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, a similar thing, where in media res, she's like in a cabin in the woods. And then we proceed to spend the next 3 chapters explaining what happened before she gets to that cabin.
Yeah.
I don't like this way of doing it.
No.
And other authors have done it better.
Yeah.
But I think it's because there's so much info dumping that happens in backstory.
Yeah,
that is
totally.
really upsetting. Yeah.
I felt like there were a few bigger things that led to my 3 out of 5 rating too. And one of the biggest things that really, two of the biggest things that irked me about this book. One, Misery and Lo and Cohen and Serena are too close of characters. Misery and Serena are way too similar. Lo and Cohen are way too similar.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
There's a lot of discourse about this online. This is apparently something that Ali Hazelwood has been called out for before, of it sort of feels like no matter what book she writes, her characters are kind of the same flavor each time.
Interesting.
So, but a lot of people are also trying to back it up and being like, well, but they're not the same person. And it's like, yes, they're not the same person. And I see where Ali Hazelwood is trying to really wedge it in there of, look, there's a difference. For example, Lo is obviously a bit more reserved, broody, quiet, whereas Cohen is more, I'm angry, I'm blunt, I say whatever I want, closeted conservative man.
Here's where I fall on it. That only works in this book. In that first book, they're the exact same person, but it's until you have them side by side that Ali Hazelwood goes, okay, I have to make them slightly different.
Right.
But I'm with you where I think I might have said it in my like midpoint, review where I'm like, we called this in the last one where I go, Serena's narrative voice feels the same as Misery's. And in this book, you can see the slight differences, but in Misery's book, you don't.
Yeah. No, agreed.
It just felt like we're getting the same characters again.
Right.
With a different story and like slightly different.
Yeah. Because
feelings.
I see what people are like, it isn't a copy paste, but it's still too similar. Yeah. Give me a little bit of difference, a little bit of spice, and that's why I'll get into my other point in a bit. I really want to talk to you about this because we called it. We ended Bride and we're like, it'd be so fun if she got with Owen. It would make so much sense if she got with Alex. Both of these characters flirted with her. I believe Alex went as so far as to ask her out on a date, whereas Owen was more just, I'm
hitting
flirting,
on her,
whatever. And she says no to both of them, and that made me so mad, especially when she goes in to say that Alex is exactly like the typical type of guy that she goes for. And it makes me mad because the reasoning of why she decided not to go for him is because obviously she's confused about what's going on with her body. At this point, she thinks she's dying still. But she keeps being like, it just disgusts me to think of anyone touching me right now as a result of this like CSD that she doesn't even have, that it's just heat, whatever. And it almost just felt like I want to put this in here. I want it to be that she only wants to be touched by Cohen, and I really need to shoehorn that fact in here. So I'm going to make it that's one of her symptoms of heat, basically, is that she only wants to be with her mate. But I don't like that. I don't like that.
We have a Patreon episode coming out soon that talks about our particular feelings about the fated mate trope.
Yeah.
So we are going to do more expansive deep dives into the tropes. And what I mean by expansive is like looking into the history, like what's the internet lore of these, what's like the earliest version of it. But for now on our Patreon, you'll just get sort of our unfiltered thoughts. And I think, let's just jump into it now. I don't like the way that she did it in this. I don't mind that they're fated mates or they're mates with each other.
Yeah.
But it's weird that she continuously says that he does not have any of the attributes of her typical type of person.
Yes.
And so in this case, it feels like her choice and her autonomy is being overridden by biology. And that is not attractive to me.
No.
It's one thing if Cohen, because that's why I thought the piano was going to be like important. If Cohen had a secret soft side that he had to like tamp down on because he became alpha at so young.
Yeah.
And he is actually her typical type of person. He just hasn't had a chance to show that. And then you could go, oh, okay, so you are still getting what you want.
Yeah.
But no, it's, I normally love like a soft, brooding, sensitive boy. And instead I get like angry alpha guy, but it's okay. I like it.
Yeah. And I think I'm just confused about it because there's this romanticization of, oh, I've never liked this kind of person before. I would have never have gone for this person before, but I really like them. And I would have rather it been that Cohen was exactly her type. Like she had historically dated this type of person before and it never went well for her. So even though she was attracted to him, she was trying to push it away to be like, one, I have bigger things going on right now. I can't focus in on that. And two, I know how this ends. It doesn't end well for me ever. So I'm going to try my best to ignore this connection.
Yeah.
I think that would have been way more compelling, but then I guess we run into the issue of if both of them are trying to deny it, then how do we get there? But I think that could have been tied into her heat BS.
And it's BS. We find out, so part of the story, Serena is like fully fledged out in the world as a half werewolf, and a bunch of like vampire assassins are after her, but it's fine because her and Misery did like jujitsu or something. But she finds out that she's having like really intense like night sweats and terrors and tremors. It's really bad. She goes to a doctor in secret, and the doctor thinks that she has
CSD, I can't remember, cortisol surge,
something or another.
doomsday, I don't know.
And just like in Bride, within like the first couple chapters, we're both just going,
she's in
so
heat.
She's in heat.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with ABO stuff, heat.
She'll die if she doesn't have sex, okay?
She has to.
She has to
kill her,
or she'll be in so much pain.
I have no problem with like sex pollen type stuff.
Yeah, it could
Whatever.
be hot.
Yeah,
This was not.
This was just so sad and weird of this woman thinking that she's on the verge of death. And I weirdly am just like just not a fan of biology overriding emotion or like choice. And so the fact that she, in this case, I can see that what Ali Hazelwood's trying to do, and I get this is part of the hotness of it, of she's been denying her feelings and she finally has to like admit to it because her body won't deny it any longer.
Yeah.
I wasn't really getting that to the extent that I wanted it.
No.
It felt more like this is happening to me. I'm being held hostage by it.
Right.
Please help me.
Yeah.
And then partway through, they're like, you know what? This is great. Let's just be together.
That was my other biggest point that made me really mad. There was so much flimsy rationale for things in this book. Like I need to so immediately talk about the celibacy
Girl,
covenant.
Okay.
It made no sense.
So Cohen immediately finds out. One thing I will say that is nice, and please remember that we're talking about the celibacy thing.
Yeah.
Is that immediately after Cohen realizes that he's Serena's mate, he goes and tells her. He's not doing the thing where he's lying about it because that's what Lo did in the last book. Sorry.
Well, but isn't Lo the one that pushes him to go and tell her about it?
Yeah, but he was already like in his head gonna do it. But yeah, Lo was like, you have to.
You have to.
He goes and tells Serena, and here's the part that's kind of ass though. Instead of just explaining the whole truth, which is my pack specifically has a celibacy clause in which if you're an alpha, you can't for really dumb, stupid reasons. He just goes, yeah, I don't want you. Even though you're my mate, like, I don't really want you.
Yeah. And just deduces it down to, like, it's just sexual attraction. That's it. It's nothing more.
So the reason he's celibate is, like...
Okay, so I'm trying to break this down in a way that makes sense.
It doesn't make sense.
There's a the celibacy covenant is something that had historically been in place for all of the different werewolf packs. But as time went on, they agreed this is really antiquated, it's unnecessary. A lot of them got rid of that covenant. However, something happened in the Northwestern Territory where Lo's parents, who were mates, got all effed up by this cult.
Cohen.
Who would I say?
Lo.
Lo, sorry.
Well, they're the same
Cohen.
person. Yeah.
Cohen. Cohen's parents were mates. Cohen's mom was the previous alpha of the pack. They get attacked by this cult that we'll talk about later. And they use his dad as basically bait. Mm-hmm. And because they were mates, his mom just went, I can't stand the thought of him being hurt at all. When I'm not listening to anyone, I'm rushing over there. And because of that, a bunch of werewolves ended up getting wiped out because the cult was, I guess, really organized. I want to talk about that too because, once again, flimsy rationale there.
But yeah, that's exactly it. Of just like, we don't want you to have a mate because we're worried you'll put your mate above the pack.
And that's where I have a problem, right? Because the celibacy covenant I can see making sense when it comes to a non-mate bond, right? Of, hey, you can't go and forge and have romantic relationships like that because we don't want you to form that connection. It makes no sense when it comes to mates because, as we know, it's not just a sexual attraction. It's a full, almost borderline obsession with the person. So regardless if they've f***ed or not, he cares about her and I think would readily go and save her whether or not they've done anything. So how does it make any sense that they can't doink each other when they already have this connection with each other.
Pack culture is so weird because they all, and I was texting you about this, it grossed me out. They're all so okay with openly talking about sex with each other. Not that you can't.
You can.
But I'm just saying, the way they talk about it, they're so like graphic and biological about it.
Right.
But then when it comes to the celibacy clause, they go, no. Even though we all know you're desperate. Like there's literally a scene where Serena is like watching them all fight Cohen in like a play practice arena.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, do you guys do this all the time? And the other, like one of the seconds goes, Amanda is like, no, it's just because he's like super horned up.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. He like really needs to get like dick down. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And this wasn't a problem until his mate showed up.
Yeah.
Because before that didn't have to realize, like it's so stupid.
I know.
The fact that they would deny their own biological necessities.
Right. Or like put some other clause in place for that, right? Yeah. Like I don't know how you would go and make this make sense with your mate, but if you really want to have it where they can't be together for some reason, that can't be it. Because yeah, once again, they already have that connection whether or not they've made it physical or not, you know?
I kind of assumed for a hot second that they were going to send Serena back to the Southwest with Misery and Low as like okay, clearly you can't, like, not that I think you're going to break it, but it's too much for you.
It's too tempting.
We can put her with somebody you trust and then call it a day.
Yeah, that was my thought as well, of she gets there and they're immediately like, no, she cannot be here.
Yeah.
But then I went to Page Bound and I was talking about this because I'm like, this doesn't, like, someone make this make sense to me. And someone was chatting with me and they're very sweet. They said a lot of things that made sense. But the first thing was like, well, would they really like question their alpha? And I'm like, well, it's the assembly's job feasibly to question
That's
the alpha.
why they're there, yeah.
Right. So maybe not anyone else. I could see them turning a blind eye and just going, that's my alpha and whatever he wants to do. Then they brought up, well, the vampire stuff. And once again, I guess that somewhat made sense to me because she goes on the TV show, she outs herself as hybrid,
and she wants to be away from.
Well, their whole plan was, well, if everyone knows that she's Cohen's mate, she'll be a little bit more protective because everyone knows how brutal Cohen is, kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, I guess that could be the flimsy rationale for why she has to stay in the Northwestern Territory, but it's still not enough for me.
In a weird way, this book wants to have its cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Like it wants to have that like tragic, we're not supposed to be together plot line, but then it doesn't want to do like the hard work of actually forcing them away from each other.
Yes. Also, where's the line with this celibacy covenant? Because when she's first in Heat, he's doing all this stuff where he's like kissing her and licking her glands, which I'm sorry, I kept reading her swollen glands and I kept gagging. So I went,
what did you, okay, because swollen glands, is it just that certain parts are just bumped up?
Yeah.
Gross.
I was like, when you're sick and your glands are inflamed.
No.
Yeah, that's just kind of what I imagine. So I'm like, you can like do that, but you can't kiss her on the mouth or put your finger in her bagubba.
It's so
like where's the line?
It's so juvenile straight logic. Like if I kiss you and if I put my peen in you, then we've done it.
P and V,
it's done.
If it's F and V, because he wouldn't touch her, but he would kiss and lick her neck. So again, it's what is constituting,
right?
Where's the line?
It makes me really think that gay sex probably isn't like not part of this either. Like he could probably like go to a Roman bathhouse and be fine. Yes. But if he kisses his girlfriend once, it's game over.
It's game over.
It's revoked.
Demote him.
I know we're all over the place, but basically, yeah, Serena gets outed. She goes to the Northwest Pack. And then when they're there, they have this sort of stupid, like, just try to stay away from me. I'll take care of you, but you're just a person that I'm in charge of. You're not my mate. I'm not going to treat you like my mate.
Which is so obvious early on. And even she calls it out that they are both each other's mate because I think he's trying to say you're my mate, but I'm not your mate.
Right.
And she immediately goes, okay, well, why do I feel really safe around you and really different around you, but I don't feel that way around Lo? Because he's trying to be like, that's just an alpha thing. She's like, okay, but I don't feel that way around Lo, and he's also an alpha. And he can't really explain it. And so we all go, okay, duh. So you guys are definitely both each other's
with both
mate.
these books having like obvious facts as like mysteries. Like Misery, the whole book is like, clearly I'm his mate.
Right.
So what's going on here? And then her the whole time is like, I think you are my mate. I feel
I have
that.
an inkling that you are.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure what it's supposed to feel like, but I know that I don't feel this way around anyone but you. So
It's also weird because does that imply that you could be someone's mate and they couldn't be? They wouldn't be. That's a weird. I don't understand.
I don't
If
understand.
we're doing fated mates, isn't it just like a 1-to-1?
Well, but because look at Lo and Misery. Misery doesn't have a mate. She's not a werewolf, but she is Lo's mate. So how would that make sense if they had to be each other's, I guess?
You know what? Theron, which I also disagree. I don't think that should have been a mate thing.
I know.
I think it should have been two people who really loved each other deeply.
And I know that, again, I know we're bouncing around a lot, but you specifically talked about it in Bride of, I don't understand how they're mates if they're like not biologically compatible. And it's the same thing though with Serena and Cohen. Because it comes out on TV, hey, she's not fertile. She probably can't have a kid because of her being a hybrid.
But that midwife does say, like, that might not be the case because you can go into heat, and heat is specifically meant for like biologic reproductivity.
Right, but
I don't like the way that they've done it here.
But again, if it comes down to this is a biological thing, why is it why are these two people biologically drawn to each other if not to reproduce?
Have a kid or
and
something.
then on top of that be like, oh, but you're the alpha, so no matter what you can't reproduce. What are we doing? There's so much contradiction with all of these different things.
And it goes back to what we were talking about with Bride too, of like they didn't want vampires, they just wanted like weird aristocratic cult like behavior. They didn't really want werewolves either. Like, we do have nodding. We do have some, like, you're my alpha. What the alpha says goes. And some comfortability with, like, being naked and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, a problem with world building that I have sometimes is you want to have a thing, but then you don't necessarily think about how the society around it would form.
Yeah.
So, like we're going back to, if an alpha can have a mate, and if the whole point of, like, a mate is to produce, like, a perfect biological offspring,
right,
then why wouldn't you put that at the top priority of everything you do?
Right.
But instead they deny him having a mate. And I guess you could also maybe not have a reciprocal mate, which then is there just like a stalker out there?
I don't know.
Just some guy who's like, I wish
waiting for the day. Unclear. Really.
It's also
unclear.
like Amanda and like that one pack member are on again, off again, but they're not mates.
Yeah, what's his name? I can't remember. Not Jorma, the other one. Saul?
Maybe.
S-A-U-L?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. Him.
Yeah, him. But like, I get it. They're saying mates are really rare. It's not that common, so you can't just rely on that. But I feel like in a society where it is a possibility.
Also, the Northwestern Pack is almost entirely, that whole area of land is pretty much all werewolves. So wouldn't you think there'd be a higher chance of there being mates within a society that is all werewolves, basically?
Aren't all of them all werewolves, though? Like, isn't the Southwest Pack also just all werewolves?
Yes, but it's like, they describe it as the Southwest Pack is really close to vampire, really close to human territory, so there's a little bit more of a mix going on there, whereas the Northwestern Territory is predominantly
just
wares.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not my favorite version, my favorite take on this.
Yeah.
Because I like it when, if the idea of like a fated mate or a mate exists, and we'll talk about this more in our Patreon episode, society shifts in a way that makes sense for that.
Right. Yeah.
That being said, though, I this book did the trope that I don't like, where it's the ex-girlfriend. So what's her name? Brenna, thank you. Brenna. There's a stupid scene where another werewolf shows up and she's hot and she has like banter with Cohen and she's tough. And Serena has to fight her to prove that she can defend herself. And as they're fighting, Serena asks her some questions about Cohen's past and realizes, oh, you guys used to date. Brenna and Cohen were a thing. And when Serena's like worried, oh, are you the reason that he doesn't want to be my mate? Did I have to break up your relationship? Brenna goes, we had other things to worry about.
Yeah.
But it's this trope of the mean ex-girlfriend is just mean and vengeful and petty And I was so worried that Brenna was going to be the bad guy.
I know.
If that happened, I would have thrown that. I mean, I was listening to it on audiobook, but I
would have thrown my phone.
would have thrown my phone.
Yeah, I did think for a second it was going to go there, or it was going to be a weird, we don't support Cohen having a mate unless it's someone like Brenna situation. Something like that. Because there was that one random guy when they're all, it's not a party, but they're all hanging out at Cohen's
his name's
house.
like Brandon or something like that.
Yeah, who's dogging on Serena for no reason, feasibly.
Yeah.
I
could see the idea of like, well, if as long as it's not his mate, he's not going to get emotionally attached, so they can just doink and call it a day.
Yeah.
But Brenna was a concern for me.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think it's such a lazy and tactless way of handling a situation. And adding like conflict where they didn't have to be. Like if Brenna wasn't his ex, nothing changes.
This book was trying to do a lot. And I think Bride was also trying to do a lot, but I think my one praise that I do have for Bride, and maybe not so much this book, is even though Bride was doing a lot and there were still some areas of flimsy rationale, I think it was a lot more smooth and cohesive than this book. Whereas this book, it's just nonstop. And I almost kind of go into, it feels like another pity party situation, because it goes from Serena having to another situation of flimsy rationale, by the way, going, I'm going to go on TV and tell everyone how I'm a hybrid so that I can protect Anna. And on the show, they go, well, there's information that there's a younger, like, hybrid human out there. And she just goes, no, they just got confused. That was me when I was younger. What?
But then in the story, it's still not enough, so she just has to leave. It's convoluted because she has to leave so her motivations are so
all over the place. She's going, okay, I want to take the heat off of Anna. I don't want people to think that another hybrid exists, so I'm just going to make myself really, really visible, and so they'll only come after me because I'm going to make myself very known.
I also don't want Anna, Misery, or Lo to know that I might be dying of CSD, so I'm going to also go away. It's so...
Why? So
there's also, she was a complex about the fact that she was Misery's companion, basically.
That just like seemingly came out of nowhere.
The line where she goes, it was really hard for me to be around like a beautiful elf princess, basically, while I was this busty short girl.
I wrote that as a note, and as I was reading, I was like, I was just so pretty and busty, and it was just really hard for me. I was like, cry me a river, dude.
And it's fair for you to want to like compare yourself to your friend. There's so many different types of beauty. Yeah. Beauty is like subjective. It's so funny that she's going, my skinny, beautiful friend, and my hot, curvaceous body,
and my big bosom, my bobbies,
my busted out tits. Just like, what are you talking about, girlie?
What are you talking about? But it goes, okay, so she outs herself as a werewolf hybrid to the world, and then she thinks she's dying, and then surprised she's not dying, she's just going to heat, but she can't have sex with the one person that she wants to have sex with. Because he's celibate.
He's a Jonas brother.
And then we find out that her dad was the leader of the cult, and that her dad was responsible for Cohen's parents' death. But then she finds out Cohen was responsible for her parents' death, and then she gets kidnapped again. What are we doing? There's so much happening here.
I called it, by the way.
Yeah.
I have it on video and I have it on text.
The second prediction I have is that in her flashback, when she was like hiding in that closet and like a massacre was happening in her house, a werewolf like saves her. That werewolf was Cohen, right? Like that werewolf is gonna be Cohen. I think so.
I said Cohen was because there's a flashback. Obviously there's a flashback.
Yeah. That's how the book starts out, is the flashback to her childhood that she can't remember.
Yeah, she's like in a closet, scared. Werewolves are there. She's being attacked, and then a young man finds her in the closet. A young man finds her in this closet and saves her, and then she doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah,
and it's obvious that it's Cohen. That age gap,
I did kind of go, ew. I know they're both minors in this situation, but like a teen coming and finding,
it's also just like
a child.
I am I feel like we're reading books where I'm not the correct audience for it. Because like I don't necessarily understand the appeal of an age gap romance. Is it just that so that being said, I don't understand how this then is an appealing age gap romance. Like this doesn't have to be an age gap romance.
Yeah.
You could just have it had like the last alpha died and Cohen stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
Because in this book, a basic there was a competing. No, it's two different things. God, this is so convoluted.
I know.
There were some wares who didn't want to abide by the celibacy clause, so they broke out and did their own thing, and then recently joined up together because tangentially there was a cult that was going on off the side of wares who were recruiting humans with the myth that they could turn humans into werewolves and produce like were-human offspring or something, which did happen.
Yes.
It did happen because the leader of that cult, like you had said, is Serena's dad. And then because of that, all of the older generation of the Northwest Pack kind of died off. They beat the cult, but then when they came together, it's mostly just like 15 to 16-year-olds who had to form their own tribe together. And so Cohen then becomes alpha at the age of 15.
They talk about the numbers. There was hundreds of people in the cult. There were thousands of wares that they wiped out. How do hundreds of humans wipe out thousands of wares? They explain it as they were just really organized and they used
machine
like the
guns.
bait.
They have machine gun stuff.
Even still, I'm sorry, these werewolves are like super strong. They wiped out hundreds of humans, wiped out thousands of wares after we are reminded time and time again how much stronger and faster and everything werewolves are. So how did that happen? We get no explanation other than, well, they were just really organized and, you know, they distracted the alpha. And I go, you're telling me that the only one that could have done something was the alpha? Like, you guys couldn't have still organized without her and did whatever you were going to do without her?
This goes back to how bad the world building in this is, because initially when Misery talks about humans, she goes, their only good thing is that they like procreate.
Yeah,
it should have been
so
thousands of humans against hundreds of werewolves.
Exactly.
And that makes more sense about the death toll.
Exactly.
And not to say that everybody has to embody like the characteristics of their culture, but just like I feel like if we want to differentiate, and it goes back to what I was talking about before, where these wares act so much like humans that Serena being like misunderstanding of what the culture is like isn't that impactful.
No.
It like
we're
all over the place, but like instead of her going similar to Misery, the offer that we had for Bride is, I just don't know what this whole mate thing is, so I'm not going to take it that seriously.
Right.
Either she does embrace her werewolf biology and she understands that they're mates, or she has like a human understanding of love and relationships, and she's like, I want to date you first.
Yeah.
Or I want to see how this goes.
No.
But there's none of that. It's just that she accepts their mates and she's working towards getting them there, and it's so boring. But yeah, back to like the cult thing of just... And then you're telling me hundreds of humans versus thousands of werewolves, and they managed to wipe out everyone 20 and above.
Yeah, and why only 20 and above? I guess those are like the people that were mainly fighting, I suppose, or like out on the front lines, if you want to call it that.
But then it makes that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what makes the age gap work, because he can't be that much older than her, otherwise it's not hot to this audience. But it's also old enough where I'm like, a 15-year-old and a 6-year-old girl, and I know that's not when they met. But then they do have like a 9-year age gap. And is a 9-year age gap really that hot?
It's a 10-year age gap.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough, though. You're very, very good about calling me out when I get the numbers wrong. Fine, a 10-year age gap. When you're 27 and the other guy is, I guess that's...
I think she's 26 and he's
36?
Yeah. It's fine. But I don't know, I struggled. I don't know. It didn't really need to be that extreme, I feel like. I feel like they could have been... Again, I feel like it was we want Serena to forget her past, to have this amnesia about her past. We're making her young enough where that's a little bit more believable. And because we need to make her younger to make this believable, then it needs to be an age gap. It doesn't feel like this was a purposeful decision. It feels like a means to an end.
Yeah, they do this all the time where it's you give her like her memories from young childhood, and then there's like a weird 3-year gap where she doesn't remember anything.
Yeah.
And then just make her be 12 and he's 15, and then there's only a 3-year difference there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
they also keep not joking, they keep being like, Lo sees Cohen as a father because he raised him.
Let me be your father figure. Put your tiny hand in mine. I can be your preacher teacher. I'll stop. It's a song.
What?
Any George Michael fans?
Okay. Oh, I know that guy.
I actually don't even know if that's the correct artist. I'll have to fact check myself. I do this all the time. Anyway.
But it is weird because you're telling me this is Neverland, basically. It's an entire township of 15, maybe teenagers being led by a 15-year-old who then, at what age did Emery and the last alpha of the Southwest Pack go, I'm going to send Lo over there? What is the minimum age, huh? Because it can't be like 18, otherwise he's too old.
Lo and Serena are the same age, and Lo is going, haha, that's my dad. And Serena's going, haha, that's my boyfriend. That's my mate. There's a lot of whiplash going on.
I'm really glad they didn't make stepmom jokes.
Oh my god, no.
I feel like that's a thing that Misery would have said. Yeah. Do I call you mom now?
Also, what was the deal with Serena being a compulsive liar? Where did that come from, and why is she a compulsive liar?
It was the fact that Cohen can smell lies.
But apparently she can too. I wrote this down because I was like, I thought it was just the alphas that could smell out a lie. But she also had instances where Cohen was lying and she smelled it.
You're right.
So
maybe it's like a mate thing. Maybe you can smell like when your mate lies.
I guess because they were saying things like, oh, she can like... They're like, oh, we don't have this compulsion where we have to follow our alpha, but it feels wrong to not follow his orders.
Oh, and she doesn't feel that way.
Have that. So yeah, maybe it is. That's the case. I don't know.
Oh, God. Wait. Sorry, what were we talking about before that, though?
I don't know.
Oh, hell yeah, baby.
But her being a compulsive liar.
Oh my God, okay, so yeah, the compulsive lying thing. It's stupid because I think it's supposed to be like a... First of all, I hated that her nickname was Killer. The compulsive lying thing of it all, though, is just the fact that, like, she doesn't trust anybody. She lies to even her closest friends. She's never felt safe enough to be honest.
What?
Just watch myself. Here's the thing. I can't really connect with characters like that.
Oh.
Everything that happens in my life,
I'm oversharing.
I'm immediately going to Steph.
Guess what?
Here's what happened today. Guess what? Or if it's not immediately, it's within the next 2 days.
Yeah.
You're hearing about my life story.
Yeah.
And these guys are so close. You're telling me Serena and Misery are so close that Serena's not even going to talk to her about...
Yeah.
The one point that I have for Misery is she went, hey, there's this thing about nodding. Do you want me to tell you? And Serena goes, no, I don't want to hear it. Misery's like, no, you should hear about this. And then later... I do appreciate it does bite her in the ass where she goes, I should have listened to Misery. I should have learned a little bit about what nodding was. Don't know why we had to make it so that she didn't. It should have just been like a fun bonding scene where they're going, what the is this?
Yeah. What was your first experience like?
Yeah.
Also, why is it that Lo and Misery doink and Misery can take his knot no problem? Serena's fully in heat, more wet than she's dry.
It's disgusting.
And he has to like ease it into her because he's got such a massive hog. Like
he's got a Pringle can.
What the hell are we talking about? How does this make sense? Serena's in heat.
Maybe vampires have just bigger veg.
Misery went, it's okay. There's plenty of room. Come on in.
Well, she's never had sex with any other vampire, but maybe canonically all vampires have huge dinguses.
She's never doinked. Serena has doinked. Serena's again in heat, but he has to ease in.
Be careful with her.
He's a big boy. Also, it made me so mad that Cohen is a virgin and he's still the one leading her through them doinking. This would have been a perfect instance of a power swap scenario of he's the alpha, he's always in charge and whatever, and now it's Serena having to guide him through something for once. But no, we need big masculine man.
That would have been so good.
They allude to this too, though. She makes this quick comment while they're having their time together, and she's like, she tries to make it like, oh, he's the alpha, and I bet no one's ever seen him vulnerable like this with us doinking, and isn't this so special? And I go, you could say that for anyone, though. I like you,
any virgin out there.
Yeah, it didn't. Again, it would have been a way more satisfying to do a little role reversal there of, hey, I know what I like, I know where to kind of navigate. Maybe the nodding thing is new for me, but I know what is most comfortable for me to
the nodding thing should be new for him too.
Right.
He can only do that with a mate.
Right.
So he also should be like, I don't really understand what's, like, I know theoretically what this is, but like we are both working on this together.
Yeah.
And it gets even hotter when she can't help herself anymore. She's like, I need this now. So I don't care what we do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That damn Steph. You should have written that.
Yeah. Also, 30 straight pages of them going at it during her heat. 30, I counted it because I went, this is really going, it's not all super graphic detail, but it's pretty graphic the entire time. There are instances where they're not actively doinking, but it's still being described how
it's very panty sniffer behavior.
Yeah. Also, we read, so not for our virtual book club, but for our in-person book club, we read a book, Married to an Alien Cowboy. And he keeps creaming his pants, and I went, I've had enough of this. And then towards the end of the book, Cohen creams himself from just eating her out. And I wrote down, I'm so tired of this shit. I can't take another passage about some guy just not being able to hold it together. I've had enough. I had like a full mental breakdown, tears in my eyes.
Okay, but in Married to the Alien Cowboy, it's the first time anyone has ever done anything to him.
Yeah.
Cohen has been doinking her for days on end. That's
it's kind of like comical the way that it happens, because he's eating her out and she goes, you told me I couldn't, finish from stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I told you you couldn't. I didn't say I couldn't. And then
it's stupid. The dialogue is so bad.
It's so mistake. He's like, watch this.
Check this shit out.
I can't, hey, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, but if you like this, what the is wrong?
There are so many people who are like, God, if I could only find if I could only find myself somebody like Cohen, and I went, raise the bar.
Yeah.
Raise the bar. Yeah. I think Cohen was somewhat of a better partner to Serena than Lo was to Misery.
He was more present at the very least.
But in Lo's defense, Misery is a vampire.
Yeah.
And is like the sworn enemy of his people.
Yeah.
Serena is just a girl that's his mate.
I think it felt more natural because Serena was at least part wear, so she gets the things he's going through of like the gland stuff that was going on and whatever. Like she's also experiencing that, and I think that helped them with their connection with one another, whereas a werewolf and a vampire, it's just different. Like Misery's never gonna understand what going into heat feels like.
Back to the whole Misery and Serena are the same person. We talked about how Misery society has failed her.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like not her fault sometimes.
Yeah.
Same thing with Serena, of like nobody's sat her down properly and gave her. Amanda does go, oh, you don't know this one thing? Okay, I'll tell you that he's celibate. And then later there's like a scene with a midwife doctor where she goes, so here's what your biology is. But it felt kind of cruel to like not actually have our character know any of it and just be like beholden to Cohen's.
Why was that not the first thing that happened of, hey, let me get you talking to people about what to expect or what is typical for wares, it might be different for you because you're a hybrid, but at the very least, if something similar like this does happen to you, you know what's going on.
Oh my god, because he makes such a big show of letting her know immediately that they're mates. He's honest, he's open about it, and then proceeds to not help her with any of the other parts of being a werewolf.
Why was every dude so dumb, too? Like, you would think that they would know what heat looks like. So why was that not ever considered? Like, that made me mad. There are certain things that I go, oh, well, I'm reading a book and I read something and I go, that's not how that would function in the real world, and that frustrates me. This book could have had doctors that knew what were going on with women's bodies.
With
I'm sorry.
men.
Come on.
It's not knowing what's going on with women's bodies in such a weird, unbelievable way.
Right.
Where, like, our midwife immediately clocks what's happening here because the symptoms are the exact same.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it should be the symptoms look different,
Yeah.
but she is noticing some sort of pattern because she's around Serena more often.
Right.
Like a normal doctor. I don't know. But because in that first book, they had a scene where Misery goes to the police.
bride.
And the police are, like, unwilling to file her missing persons case.
And yeah.
And that did feel a little bit, like, realistic to what does happen in real life.
And in a good way. Yeah, cool.
Right. But in this, it was just, yeah, we have no clue. We think you're having this insane terminal illness.
Yeah.
Which, to be quite candid, I feel like doctors are very cautious. They will let you suffer for years before being willing to diagnose something really intense like that.
Well, but he did say that this typically isn't a terminal disease. It's curable for wares, but her body was not reacting to the treatment.
Oh, right.
As it was expected to, and he goes, probably because you're a hybrid.
Because you're gonna die, dude.
So, if you don't get cured for this, you will die, but that typically isn't what happens.
And they do the thing where everyone around them is so well-meaning and doing their best to help out the situation, and if they mess up, Cohen goes, I'm gonna kill you. Like, the midwife has a husband who had a very similar diagnosis, I think, like, kind of messed up on his analysis of her, like, didn't catch it.
Yeah.
And Cohen's reaction to that is, you better stay away from me, otherwise I'm gonna kill him.
He better find a way to fix her, or I'm gonna kill him. Okay.
And yeah, when Misery goes back to, like, have a conversation, that guy's nowhere to be found. Because he's like, I'm not dealing with this. I don't like an alpha dude like this.
No. I think a lot of people fall into the category of liking this really overprotective, almost to the point of insanity. And I can get behind it. I can't get behind it in this way. This guy sucks. This guy's going, I'm still firm in my I hate Cohen attitude. This didn't make me like him anymore. If it's not for the fact that he's also swearing crazy, he's saying shit like, you're a shart stain, you're a cum dog, you're a twat waffle. Like, that's crazy. Ali Hazelwood, why can you not make your adults swear just like normal adults? I have questions for you. But on top of that, he says just, like, the dumbest stuff that I go, oh, this is like people who never leave their hometown and marry their high school sweetheart, and they think everything that he says is amazing. There's one instance, hang on, I have to look at the exact quote to just contextualize how bananas this was. This was, they're driving, I believe, to the Northwestern Territory after she does her interview, and he goes, she's saying, like, I think you owe me an apology, and he just goes, I think you owe me an apology for how spectacular your tits are.
He's really lucky that biology matters a lot in this, because what woman wants that?
And she in her head goes, should I tell him that I think he should apologize to me for how spectacular his tits are? This is what I'm saying. It's like the high school sweethearts that never left their hometown, that everything that comes out of his mouth, she's like, that's gold.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. That's so sweet, babe. I can't believe you like my body that much. That's the vibe that I'm getting from the two of them, and I don't care for it.
There are romantic heroes that I do find that their banter, their wit, and their charm is spectacular. And I, as, like, a reader, am kicking my feet going, oh my god,
yeah,
I can't believe he said that. This is not that.
No.
Saying things like, your tits are spectacular.
You need to apologize to me for how spectacular your tits are.
And here's the thing, too. I know people like this. Like, I've met people who find this very funny or very charming or love this kind of, like, humorous banter. And I'm sure if you are really attracted to somebody and they are commenting,
You got your rose-colored glasses on.
yeah. But as a sober reader, like, this was so weird because he would make these comments
Yeah.
and they barely have a relationship at this point.
Yeah.
They barely know each other because he's purposely trying to stay away from her.
He's making jokes about, haha, get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't understand how we like this guy. I think there were moments of him being witty, but it's like 90% him making dumb jokes like that and about 10% actual witty back and forth.
I pose this to you.
Yes.
There's a scene in the very beginning where a vampire is trying to attack her. She's in an isolated cabin by herself because she's doing her own, I'm gonna die soon, I should be away from my loved ones type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's also part of it's because with CSD, what she thinks she has, she's wandering around in the middle of the night, and there was an instance where she had woken up and she wandered into Anna's room, and they're telling her that, yeah, there's instances where people get violent and they don't even know that they're getting violent, so she's also scared of potentially hurting
the people she
Anna
loves.
or Misery or Lo. Yeah. So.
And yeah, this whole time she can't shift.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
there's a moment where the vampire has her knife against her neck and he's talking to Cohen and he essentially like offers her up sexually to Cohen to go, hey, like, if you let me go, if you let me take her back, I'll give you a chance to do some very terrible things to her. And Cohen, like, there's a moment where it's described that he like looks like he might take the offer, and we know that he's not going to. He's just baiting this vampire.
Yeah.
But my offer to you is that Cohen has not been described to us as a very clever or like whatever character.
Yeah.
If you had put, and that scene to me was not attractive.
Oh.
Like, it was really scary.
She was actually scared in it too. She thought for a second, oh my god, is he actually gonna do this?
Yeah. And it's emblematic of his like alpha personality where I go, is it hot that you're worried that this man is gonna attack anyone, not like including yourself, at this drop of a hat? I would have weirdly liked it better if that was Owen, Misery's brother, because he is like a conniving, clever, sort of scheming dude. Him making a weird plan of like, yeah, I will do terrible things to her, bring her over here, and the other vampire's like, okay, we're the same, we're one and the same, like, I trust it, I'm gonna like let you do that, because she wants Cohen to be chivalrous and upstanding, but also dark and intense and mean, and it doesn't really work for me.
No, again, he just seems like a weird frat dude to me.
And that's what I'm getting at. It's like the actions themselves aren't necessarily the problem. It's how you've characterized the character doing those actions.
Yeah.
If Owen had done that, I think I would have liked it better, because you've positioned Owen as this guy who's like willing to be self-serving.
Yeah.
In ways that once you get to know him, I'm sure you can break down that exterior. But you haven't at this point described Cohen at all. He's just an asshole who puts people's heads on spikes outside of his territory.
Also, he just
that's crazy serial killer behavior. And they brush it off like he's just like a wild guy and he's really protective. I go, no, that's insane. That's creepy. It's weird.
I wasn't sure if that was just conjecture of like rumors of haha, he did that, but I
thought he had done it.
I don't know, maybe I could believe it based off of some of his behavior, but yeah, to your point, all of the scenes that we had gotten from him, they were brief in Bride, but they were just he's very over the top. He's very, I'm gonna get in your face. He's not conflict avoidant at all. So why now is he being perceived or like portrayed as, he's scheming and he's
clever. He just like plans and stuff. Which also he doesn't really.
It should just be brute strength, honestly. Like, once again, if you're trying to further differentiate Lo and Cohen too, make Lo the one who is a little bit more strategic, a little bit more clever, and Cohen is just, I'm just brute muscle and strength, and that's what I'm doing, and that's it.
That would imply that Lo then has to actually know how to use computers, which is like impossible for the man. Okay. His characterization in Bride to me was a bit more F-boy energy.
Yeah.
Of like, that one scene where he's basically toasting to the fact that his like uncle died.
Yes.
I thought was like so silly and dumb and very, I'm like a guy who never had to grow up. I'm like an
Yeah.
overgrown teenager, frat boy, whatever.
Yeah.
And then in this book, besides his really crappy swearing,
Yeah.
he's just
And his
like-
weird, like, dry flirting that's just saying stuff like, apologized for your bazongas.
yeah, how dare you? But yeah, he's like really serious in a
Yeah.
way that was so boring and unappealing.
Yeah. People are like, Lowe's boring. I'm like, Cohen's kind of boring too.
Kind of boring.
I don't.
His flavor comes from what? Him being a bully and also saying things like waffle.
I guess.
He does play the piano at one point.
Yeah, that one time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the cults for a sec. So I've already revealed, yeah, this cult was previously headed by this guy Constantine. He's Serena's dad, or was, I guess I should say.
He did die.
So she ends up, they run into this cult member while she's at like where the doctor is, where the midwife is, and this guy goes, "Hey, Ava," calling her Ava, "you gotta come with me. You gotta come home." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And then Cohen
know the truth.
Cohen shows up and is like, "Hey, get the hell out of here." And then this guy goes, "Oh, I was supposed to bring her back, or they told me not to come back." And so he just swan dives off a cliff. Okay. She ends up getting kidnapped and brought to this cult. And it's revealed that, yeah, at this point,
Her aunt now leads it.
Yeah, Irene, her aunt, is running this cult. Knew her brother was Serena's father, Constantine. Knew Serena's mother. Had said, "Oh yeah, you and your mother ran off during all this conflict, whatever." Ba ba beep 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 beep. Irene is dumb.
Irene, in my head, has, this is the picture I want to make, blonde hair, a beautiful caftan.
Oh yeah,
And she's going like this, "Welcome home, my child, my sweet girl." Yeah, Irene is so stupid.
She seems to understand werewolves, which would make sense because her brother was a werewolf, so she would feasibly would understand.
She not a wolf?
No.
How?
She's not a wolf because she didn't shift or anything. She just like came out naked with a gun at the end. I don't.
No, well, no, because how could she has to be a werewolf, because otherwise, then how are you related biologically to another werewolf?
Yeah, I guess no. That you're right.
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the logic of this world, because you're right. Irene, I don't think
she doesn't shift.
I don't think she shifted.
She didn't. Because I have a visceral memory of she comes out naked with a gun.
But like she can't. She has to be a werewolf.
She does. No, yeah. No, you're right. I didn't think about that. But she's stupid. Oh, because I was like, oh well, maybe no. But then she, yeah. But anyway,
otherwise, their cult would have a lot of legitimacy.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really aggressive towards you. In general, it's just like
I hadn't thought about it, so I was like, wait a minute, because in my head it was like, oh, well, it doesn't mean that everyone in the family has to be a werewolf, but yeah, it kind of does.
It kind of does, like, which is why it really bothers me about the world building of this world.
Because I don't know. Anyway,
this world wouldn't make sense, but the way the world is described, not explicitly, but like implicitly, the descriptions of this world, make you think that sometimes you get werewolves, sometimes you get vampires, but mostly you have humans.
Right.
Just the way that everyone grew up societally. But the way it's explicitly said, all the people in the Northwest Pack have to be werewolves.
No, true.
And all the people who are vampires, I guess, have to be vampires.
Okay.
But that being said, so Irina leaves this cult.
And so
Irene, not Irina.
The initial instance is she kidnaps Serena. Lore drops her family stuff on her, and then Cohen shows up. And while Cohen's there, he's tied up. They got him somehow, I guess. And Irene goes, "Hey, by the way, he killed your parents, and whatever." And she thinks that this is going to cause Serena to kill him. And of course, we do the fake out of Serena's raising her knife, and then she just slashes through his restraints.
But she does have a moment internally where she goes, "He killed my mom?"
And not only that,
this mom I never cared about, but now I do.
Abandoned me with human social services.
It would have been fine if she just dropped the whole mom plot and was like,
You abandoned
you
me.
abandoned me?
Yeah.
Like you just left me to fend for myself?
I do think she was more hung up on that part, but she does bring the mom bit into it. It's like, you keep being like, I don't call her mom because it feels unnatural because I don't remember her at all.
But there are moments where she goes, was she like me when she, which is normal things to feel and think or whatever.
Right.
But in the context of a novel, you're bringing this up specifically to show something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it felt like there was a moment where she's like, he killed my parents, but I honestly was the reason his parents died. I'm like, no, you weren't.
It's really callous of me, but I did write down, I was like, this kind of feels like a wash of like her dad killed his parents and then he killed her parents. I was like, nah, whatever.
It all turns out well.
Hey, it's fine.
It would have had more emotional impact if throughout the novel the only memories she has are of her mother.
Right.
She's like, I know my mom is an important part of my life. I don't know which of my parents is aware, but I know I love my mother.
Right.
Those are the only memories I have. And then to later find out, oh, my mother was the human one, but she joined this weird cult. Mm-hmm. She had a lot of like wonderful relationships here. Yeah. She was an innocent, if you want to say that.
Yeah.
And then turns out my mate is the one who killed her.
Right. It would have been more impactful if there was a bigger connection between Serena and her mom. Yeah, I agree. Or if that was like one of her things of she was always trying to find her mom or something. But no, she hadn't been curious about who her mom was up until she started finding out that she was not fully human. But it was more so from the aspect of, well, what should I expect, or who are you people, because I'm a hybrid, whatever. Yeah. Not so much I want to find my family.
If memories of her own mother or curiosity about her family is what drove her to realize that she was probably half aware,
right?
That was set up in Bride.
Mm-hmm.
What a fun through line, but no.
But so Serena cuts Cohen out. They escape. They have their heat moment together, and then Serena throughout this entire book just keeps going, I'll be bait in all these various scenarios. And she goes, in this scenario, we're trying to weed out the rest of this cult and get rid of them or whatever they're trying to do. And she goes, I'll be bait again. And decides, again, flimsy rationale. She goes, I was told by one of the humans in the cult about these various safe houses, or like my dad's old home that Irene goes to, and they have this memorial for him there. Mm-hmm. And what if you just plant me there as bait? Because it wouldn't be weird that I'm going around that house now that they've told me that this is my family. And I go, no, it would be weird because you out loud said to Cohen, when Irene drops, hey, Cohen killed your parents, she goes, I don't give a darn about my dad. You killed my mom. She says this out loud. Irene is present. She is there. So why would it then make sense for Serena to be around her dad's old house? So that already doesn't make sense. And Irene sees through whatever, ends up being able to nab Serena. Serena
hostage once again
a hostage, and once again goes, well, they think I can't shift still, so I have this under my belt. Why does Irene not think you can shift? Because Irene recognized she was in heat and that it was coming very soon, to the point where Irene goes, here's some eligible male werewolves that you can spend your heat with. So if she knows what heat looks like, so much so that she can tell she is going to go into full heat soon, why would she not know then, oh, well, I know when heat she can't shift, but I know afterwards she will be able to shift. So I'm not sure maybe exactly when her heat has, if her heat has happened yet, but we should be prepared for the fact that she can potentially shift again. Hello?
That is so stupid.
This is what I'm saying.
That is so dumb.
And then again, if Irene is a werewolf, why didn't she shift and fight that way? Why did she come out naked with a gun? We're just leaning into weird cult stuff just for the sake of leaning into weird cult stuff.
I'm stuck on the whole. Yeah, if Irene knew that she was in heat because she offered her a harem of dudes. And then Irene presumably had seen her sometime between her getting kidnapped the second time and being held hostage, and couldn't tell that she was out of heat. Just assume that she was still in heat, even though she'd been doinking for days on end.
Right. And it's, again, once again, if it is, she has some weird lapse in knowledge there, at least this understanding of, I know when heat ends, you'll be able to shift, so I'm going to prepare for that just in case it's ended. But no. This is still Serena's little back pocket trick she has, just like in Bride. Oh, surprise, no one thinks I can shift, but I can.
Surprise shift. Yeah, no, that sucks. Because, yeah, she breaks out, she joins the fight, she gets shot, take out the cult, sort of. They don't kill Irene, though, right? They don't find her?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I went, is there going to be a third book? And if so, who?
Anna grown up.
I throw up. I throw up. I will not read that.
As we can obviously jump back and forth, but as we're like, this is obviously all towards the end of the novel, I want to talk about Serena and Misery for a second, because Serena in Bride is going to Misery, I need you to care about something outside of just me, right? That's their whole fight. This book, Serena's going, I feel like I can't show you how broken and horrible I am right now because you have everything. So Misery's finally gone ahead and done what Serena has asked. Not really, but she's fallen into a family. She's got a husband. She's got this weird kid that she cares about is 8 but still acts like she's 4 even in this book. Okay, fair enough. It's so strange to me that we went from Bride and her being like, you need to find something that you care about, and then Misery finds something that she cares about, and instead of Serena going, I'm really happy that you found something you care about, she goes, well, now you're not gonna need me because I'm just like in a really bad spot right now, and you're not gonna want me around. What?
The motivations are so flip-flop because on one side she's going, I don't want to ruin this thing that you have for yourself, right? She does at one point say, like, I'm happy that you have this little family that you have. I don't want to be the thing that takes you away from that. But then on the other side, she's like, well, you don't need me anymore. And that's like,
right.
When she has the conversation with Misery, it is about, well, I just feel like you don't need me anymore.
Right. And that's when her whole thing is, she thinks she's dying too. She goes, well, I'm happy because now Misery has Lo and has Anna. And if something happens to me, Misery's not all alone.
She thinks she's dying while in like the midst of heat, so they do a sex scene too, and it's just so but it's so juvenile, their friendship. Like this conversation happens to most people around high school.
Right.
Like I've definitely had like confrontations with my friends where I'm like, well, it just feels like you're making friends with other people and you don't need me anymore. And you go, right. Oh, that was stupid because you can be.
But I think it takes it a step further because it's like, Serena, this is the very thing you asked Misery to do and now she's done it. And now
what? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, and she doesn't even acknowledge that in herself of like, this is what I wanted for her. It does kind of feel bad.
Right.
Because we never see Serena have her own life. And so in the context of this novel, Serena is saying, you need to have something outside of me, Misery. But Serena does not have anything outside of Misery.
Right. Well,
so when we get to Mate, then it makes more sense where Serena's like, well, you don't need me anymore, so I have to find my own life. If she actually had a fulfilling life, that would not be a problem.
Right.
But Ali Hazelwood didn't do the due diligence to remember.
Right.
That was the point.
Or do some sort of thing of, I did have this life, but now, and I think she did try to do it a bit of, now that I've come out as a hybrid,
you're right.
These people in my life don't want to be a part of my life anymore. And now I'm grappling with that on top of the fact that I'm seeing Misery surrounded with people who, and I'm not used to that. But I wish there was a little bit more introspection about that, a little bit more exploring that rather than it feeling, to your point, very weird and juvenile and out of kind of nowhere.
And they when they patch things up, it's very... I can't bleach. I can't believe you would ever think of me like that, you bleach.
I also didn't care for
Misery was worse in this book.
I'm gonna say the same thing with Bride, where I don't need everyone to be BFFs with each other. Like Cullen and Misery don't need to have this weird relationship with each other of like Serena touching on, oh yeah, haha, they're both assholes, so they get along super well. I feel like it could just be, not that I need them to be enemies or whatever, but like, I don't know, like they don't also need to be best friends. It just, too much at a certain point. And I go, oh, you like, these two characters are the perfect candidates for, we're a little too similar, and because of that, I don't get along with you.
I was just about to say, I've never met somebody in real life where they meet somebody else who is just as mean as them and go, oh, we can get along. They go, I don't like
that.
It's every single time you meet somebody who is just as bitchy as you, you go, I'm not for me.
Cohen meets Misery and just goes, you're too alpha for me.
But sincerely, like, that's how it should have gone. Of like, Cohen makes a stupid twat waffle joke and Misery goes, ew.
Yeah. Or like, it would have been funny too of Misery going, I really like Alex, you should be with Alex instead, like rooting for anyone else. Or like, why does Serena go, yeah, and Owen was hitting on me the entire day I was there, and I had to make sure that I took it to my grave, and I never told Misery. I think it'd be hilarious for her to tell Misery and be like, haha, guess what your brother was doing? Isn't that friendship?
Right.
What are we doing here?
It's...
Especially if you know you're not going to go for it, too. It's not like, oh, and I know she'd be angry if I went off with him and I want to. It was just like, he hit on me, I wasn't into it, but I can never tell Misery. Why? Why?
It's one
thing. You can dog on her brother together.
If Owen and Misery were so close and you went, oh, that would have been awkward. But they're not, so why can't you just tell your best friend that her goofball brother...
You guys can go, ew,
her try-hard brother.
His receding hairline.
Which they brought up again.
Why?
It's fine to have a receding hairline. I just know with the way that these romance novels are written, that if you have a receding hairline, you're not going to be the love interest.
Yeah, we barely saw Owen in this book. We just heard about him.
I love him.
There should have been more work with him.
Again, I wish it had just been an Owen-Alex love triangle. Don't bring Cohen into this at all. Yeah. Or even an Alex Cohen love triangle of like, here's what I know I would normally want. Mm-hmm. Here's where my body is craving.
Yeah. And again, what a perfect like contrast too of Cohen being her mate, but going, no, I don't even want you. And Alex being, hey, I'm what you typically go for, and I am validating to you, and I'm giving you what you're looking for.
It's part of my issue with, weirdly, Bridgerton season 3.
Yeah.
I wanted more of the jealousy. I wanted more of, in this scenario that we're making up right now, of Cohen going, no, I'm saying no to you, and I don't even want to have you. Go, you can, and he says it too. He's like, you can go with wherever you want. Mm-hmm. You can be with whoever you want. I don't care. Like, do what you need to do.
And then she does,
and then he goes, wait a minute. Oh, I don't like this. And maybe she doesn't have to like it either. Yeah. But she's trying. She's like, I do like Alex. I think he's nice. But none of that. It's really...
Or it's like she goes to the Southwest to the doctor there and finds out she has CSD. Make it so that Alex somehow finds out, and he's trying to like help her and comfort her through that. And then like Cohen sees that and flips out and whatever. Like, yeah. I think that would have been way more compelling for like the tension and the angst than this weird celibacy covenant too.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Especially if Serena is starting to realize that she's getting feelings for Cohen, but she doesn't want to actually be with him because she knows she's going to die.
Yeah.
And then, because once they do get together physically, it almost seems as though the whole celibacy thing's out the window. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. Because, so the way it ends is he at first offers to step down. She goes, no, don't do it. And then she does a thing where she's like, I never even loved you. It doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And then he just goes to the assembly and says, I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, it was after too, like the confrontation with the cult, and they go, yeah, like we saw that she put herself in harm's way for you, and
you let her
and fought for our pack too, so you can be with her.
Yeah. Well, it was mostly just like, he's like, they went, even though she was your mate, she still like told you what was up, and then also was able to put herself in danger, where we were worried that you would never let your mate be in danger. So therefore, it's okay that you have a mate. So therefore, this was all dumb and stupid anyways.
Okay. Also, them just going, okay, you're in heat. I guess you can borrow our alpha for the time being while you're in heat, and then you need to break it off.
And they all
That is so stupid.
And cruel.
It's so, like, but also, scent is their thing. The assembly comes to them for the first time, and Serena's whole thing is, you can smell. Have we doinked? And they go, no, okay. So they feasibly, if they ever doink, the assembly will know. So why was it okay for them to do that while she was in heat, but no other time? I don't like. I don't. Where again? I just don't like. The logic is so flimsy to me. Where I'm like, okay, because I don't think they made the assembly aware that they were doing this, but feasibly it'd be easy for the assembly to know that they have doinked. Like, so why were they like, it's fine, we'll all just keep it a secret? How are you keeping it a secret if they can smell it?
Yeah, no, they're the dumbest. Maybe in this world, well, no, because Misery's dad was an idiot too. No, it doesn't tie up in a nice bow.
No.
Which is very frustrating.
And it doesn't need to tie up in a nice bow, but it does need to make some lick of sense, and it doesn't make any lick of sense.
Or like after they doink, it's cruel, but it makes sense to be like, hey, if you're around, they'll be able to sense that we've done this.
Yeah.
You need to leave now.
Yeah.
Like, I helped you out. A nice handshake, goodbye, get the hell out of here. And if she of her own volition comes back to like help them fight against the cults or whatever, fine, but
I don't
there's
know.
not a lot of logical thinking in this.
No.
Do you have a favorite character?
No. I'm trying to think genuinely. I don't know.
I like Brenna. She was mean.
I kind of liked Brenna too.
Yeah.
I was like, Brenna doesn't deserve this.
Also, it's so funny when you think about the fact that Serena is going, are you the reason that he's mad and he doesn't want to be my mate? And they broke up when they were 15.
I know! I know!
And to be jealous of a random girl, no, Brenna was fine. I think at one point later they have like a conversation too, and Brenna's like, man, I don't think about you. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I will say I enjoy the idea of like a full werewolf city township.
Yeah.
They all.
There was things about that made no sense too, though. She's in the grocery store at one point. She goes, "They don't have goldfish. They have they're like goldfish, but instead of being fish, they're phases of the moon. Why can't they just be goldfish?"
Capitalism reigns supreme, no matter what world you're
Werewolves can only have moons.
In a marketing test, they prove that actually werewolves prefer the moon shape better than the.
They're drawn to the moon.
The moon shape is just a little circle.
That's what I'm saying. Little circles and like crescents.
Stupid.
What are we talking about? Also, once again, I think it goes back to they're so obsessed with this idea of there being a mate, this one person that's perfect for you, but then they're walking around naked. But vampires are the promiscuous ones because they're doinking anyone and everyone that they want. But then there's heat, and they can doink whoever they want during this and encourage that, and they're all really open about it. So it's so inconsistent, the world building aspect of this. And it doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be better than that.
Oh my god. Even if we could just go back to the goldfish crackers of it all. Of just, you're telling, because in the Northwest Pack specifically, they make a big stink about how they're not often in human form. They're usually in wolf form. So then why do you have a grocery store stocked to the brim of like wonderful human food supplies?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it just be like, hey man, we keep it very bare bones out here because we're wolves. We mostly just hunt if we need anything.
Right.
And we just keep what you need to have, like toilet paper, paper towels, that kind of stuff.
Extra little bits and bobs to go with.
Full ass Marianos. They're like shopping for beautiful pillows. They go to like
candles.
Yeah, they go to a premium designer to get like beautiful clothes.
And Lo picks out all red underwear for her, which again, how juvenile. This truly was very high school.
God. Gosh darn it.
Gosh
she doesn't
dang.
like the feeling of any of the clothes on her, but she wears them anyways.
She loves, I keep wanting to call them Lo, Cohen's clothes. Just sniffing them, putting them on her. She does have a line in the book at some point where she goes, it was really unnecessary for me to like go get clothes because I just keep wearing his and that's it.
Well, I, for a second, I thought she was going to embrace the werewolf lifestyle and just be naked.
Like, just torture him.
Yeah. Like, well, no one else wears clothes.
Me and my spectacular tits.
I felt like that was the only part of being human that she kept with her.
Yeah.
That like, oh, being naked is like,
oh.
Which fair, if you're not used to the human body, it is going to be a little uncomfortable just to see like people around you naked.
Yeah.
But yeah, no other idea of, well, we all get together every night and we eat together. It's really weird that you guys just go hunting. And he's like, well, that's our version of getting together. Like,
Yeah.
there's very little cultural exchange because she's
Right.
half werewolf, so she should know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of like Let me
But yeah, do
consult.
you have any more notes there? I was just thinking that I liked the setting a lot more.
Yeah.
Really, I enjoyed the werewolf wilderness aspect of it all more so than just being stuck in a beautiful house, which was
Yeah.
what Misery's experience was. I like that we saw a lot more of the pack, that she had more experiences with them, that she was friendly with them, that for the most part she was ingratiated with the town. People said hi to her.
Yeah.
It was only people like, I think Brandon or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
that had a problem with her being like a half werewolf. It doesn't really seem that like anything about her biology encumbers her from being a werewolf.
Yeah.
She can still shift, she still goes into heat, she still has her senses about her. So I don't so maybe being half werewolf just means you get to the best of both, which is biologically compatible and reproductively sound, and then also being a human I guess sucks. What
No, true. That was one of my notes of like, it really feels like Ali Hazelwood only likes the werewolves in these books. It doesn't seem like she likes the vampires. It doesn't seem like she likes the humans. It seems like the werewolves are the only people who are kind of without fault.
Something that confused me is the vampire in the beginning that was hunting her seemed very agile and speedy and like good
Yeah.
at fighting. But then in Bride, she describes the vampires as not particularly good at that. Whatever.
Not a clue. So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
There was a part of the book where they sort of go into, yeah, we're mates.
You're asking this question.
they're like, yeah, we're mates. But we also chose to be together. Why are you laughing at me? You're laughing?
Okay, yeah, no, I'm locked in, dude. So yeah. Oh yeah.
They're mates. And they go, but yeah, we still chose each other because we had all of these things stacked against us. The things being the celibacy covenant, the thing being Serena's dad murdering his parents, him murdering her parents. And she goes, yeah, despite all of this, we still chose to be together. And I think it was supposed to be, yeah, again, we're mates, but we are also choosing each other. But to me, this just read, yeah, we're choosing each other because we're mates.
Right.
These things that happened were nuts, but it's not. I don't know if I'm describing this correct.
Where it's like, if they weren't mates, if they didn't intrinsically know that they're supposed to be together, would she be able to authentically get over him killing her mom?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, then to say, oh, well, the fact that we were able to overcome all of these obstacles means that we should be together, that, like, it didn't matter what the maid situation was.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. It's like a chicken and an egg thing. What came first?
Right. Yeah.
Was it the fact that we were mates made it so that these obstacles didn't matter? Or is it the fact that like we loved each other so much these obstacles don't matter and that's why we're mates?
I also think it's almost, and this is just speculation, I don't know if this is actually what Ali Hazelwood had in mind, but I feel like there was maybe some of the same critique that we had of Bride of, I don't think Lo would have liked Misery if they were not mates. So I feel like because of maybe some of that, she's going, okay, I need to put something in here that's still that almost saying, yes, we would have chosen each other even if we weren't mates. But I don't particularly believe it or find that compelling
It's
at
you're setting
all.
a scenario in which saying no isn't a possibility.
Yeah.
Like you're setting up a situation where because they're mates, Serena is never gonna say, no, I don't want to be with you.
Right.
Even in that moment where she is like fake trying to say or like fake trying to kill him, like we talked about before, she has like a hesitance about him killing her mom of like he did this, like that really hurt.
Yeah.
She gets over it so quickly
Yeah.
because they're mates, because she's like, well, I do love him, I know he is, I trust him. After like what, 2 weeks? No, it really doesn't work for me. Yeah. And the epilogue doesn't work for me.
Yes, that was the end. The next thing was we know that Sadie loves an epilogue and Sadie loves ending on a sex scene. and this book did both. And I think your text was, I effing hate the ending. So yeah, did it do anything for you?
We get an epilogue that doesn't actually tell us what happens next, so it's not like, oh, moving forward, this is what we're gonna do. Here's how the pack is gonna be. Here's all of the open item questions that we have. It's just
She moved in.
she moved in and she marked me. And now I get to mark her. And he does. He like bites into her neck and comes inside of her. And yippee!
And that's the end of the book. Yeah. Also, I love a down bad man. I hate this kind of down bad man. Him being like, it would be a privilege to like make you come, but he doesn't have the like pathetic. Here's the thing, I love Gail DeCaros. That is a pathetic down bad man. That is the pathetic down bad man that I like, of like, yes, you are a nerd, you're confident, but you're a nerd still. Cohen is just like, you're an alpha. I don't like, these two things don't gel in my mind.
I think you can be a down bad alpha if it's like, anything you want, babe, I will give it to you. Please, please, please. But instead, he takes it to the extreme of, if anyone wants to mess with you or touch you or anyone even looks at you, I'd kill them because I want you so bad. And that doesn't work for me. It's
once again too, I feel like it's trying to be like, oh, he's this alpha and he always gets what he wants and it's always about him, and now he's like, no, it's about you. It would be a privilege to like do these things to you. But I don't it just, I don't, again, yeah, it doesn't have to be one or the other, but in my head, who Cohen is throughout this book versus these things that he says do not correlate to me, do not make sense to me.
It's one thing if he's a spoiled little princeling because he was alpha so young and everyone adores him and everyone loves him, and so he's so used to getting his way.
Right.
Not because he has to use fear and intimidation and he's big and bad. It's just that they genuinely love and adore him.
Yeah, and people want to.
And people want to because he's their alpha. And here is somebody who like isn't listening to him, doesn't abide by his rules.
Yeah.
And so he's just not used to that. And also conversely, he's going, I don't even care. I just, whatever she wants, babe.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
That would work in a very cute and silly way.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's everyone listens to me and does what I say, and I'll do whatever you want, baby girl.
Yeah. Or it's like, yeah, bring the alpha energy into the bedroom then. I don't like that either, but it makes more sense of like, I'm gonna frick you into submission. Like, I'm gonna hit like brat tamer kind of energy almost. Like, I feel like that would make a little bit more sense to me for I don't want to see that.
But it would make sense of the description of Cohen that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, yeah.
Of a dude who is very dominant and used to getting his way, and is kind of a little cheeky, so he can handle that energy.
Yeah, and it's like, if we're not gonna flip the script and have Serena be the one that's like leading them through their bedtime together,
that's why it should have been Alex. Alex would have been so down bad, pathetic boy.
Yeah.
Oh, can we read a book like that soon?
Yeah.
We kind of got that with Nestor and Vampires of El Norte.
Yeah. He's like, oh,
not as much as I want.
Believe me, I guess. It's fine. You're alive.
Such a sucker for Down Bad and Mean Girl.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
It's cute. I really like it so much. Obviously, that's not what this was, but...
This is such a tangent, but have you... I know you've been seeing them because you've been liking them. The Roderick and Regina George.
I love it, and I wish yep. Regina George and Roderick Heffley.
Yes!
I love it. It's an alt edgy boy who's a little stupid and pathetic, and a mean girl who has her together.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that?
What's not to love? That's not what this book is.
But wouldn't that have been so fun?
Wouldn't it have been?
But instead we get again secondary generic jock alpha man and quippy girl.
Yeah, it's sarcastic.
Yeah.
I did write at one point, you know what, Cohen and Serena are perfect for each other because they're both like insufferably like blasé, devil may or may not care, machismo, like we don't have to talk about our feelings. We lie and we'll push it down and blah, 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 and we'll just move through it. It's like, okay. I will say that no matter the harsh criticisms I have for these books, I do have a fun time reading them. Like, I do, it does at least make me chuckle, or like I have never been so active in like the page bound forums as I was with this book, just arguing with people of like, what is going on right now? And I like when a book makes me do that. It's just easier and it's fun to get through. It doesn't feel like a slog, even if I don't particularly care for the book.
It's a somewhat entertaining world of being thrown into this weird nodding thing,
Yeah.
and then cults happening, and there are occasional cute moments like Serena makes breakfast and dinner and stuff for like the pack, and every day they show up and they go, "Can you make us food again?
Yeah.
We don't often cook for it."
Yeah.
Those moments are adorable and very cute. So I can't take that away from Ali Hazelwood, but yeah, it's mate.
It's mate.
They've made it on each other.
They did a mating, all right, for 30 straight pages.
And if you want to hear us talk about fated mates, please subscribe to our Patreon. We'll be talking about that this month.
Yeah.
And then our next episode is a real fun one. We're going to be doing an Am I the Asshole episode.
Oh, yeah.
Where I've compiled a lovely little list of scenarios for Steph and our friend Aaron to go through. But thank you for joining us on this new and improved, I think, version of the podcast.
Yeah. And I guess just caveat, this was not an official book club pick. It was just sort of, a
little treat for you.
Happy accident of timing with Bride. So just got an extra video out of us.
Good for you, Ali Hazelwood. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.
All right. Okay, we can do this. Hey, we got this. Shake on it.
Hey,
you promise we're gonna do this.